All right.
Oh,
So
boy.
we're going to go ahead and I think we are ready to get started in sake of everybody's time. So thank you for coming. We're excited to see everybody today. We have a full agenda of wonderful things going to happen. We're going to review today. I know we always start out with a connection, but we have a guest with us today who's going to go over some information about healthcare and how to apply for healthcare benefits and SNAP and get us some overall 101 on this for yourselves and for the families that you serve. So I've worked with Vicki for many years, and she's been such a tremendous help for us here in Northern Kentucky, but throughout the state as an advocate and a connector for these benefits. So I'm excited to introduce Vicki Flynn. So Vicki, you have the floor to give us some great advice.
Okay, thank you, Shelley. I do Medicaid and SNAP benefits, and I also do qualified health plans. And right now, open enrollments for the qualified health plans, Medicaid ended December 2nd, but you can apply for Medicaid and SNAP anytime if you want to see if you qualify. The good thing about AmeriCorps, the program that you guys are in, that's a stipend and it's not included income for SNAP benefits or Medicaid. And if you don't have another income that's, making a lot of money, you'll qualify for Medicaid. And Medicaid has 5 plans, and they have Aetna Better Health of Kentucky, which used to be Coventry Cares, and it's one of the oldest. They got Anthem, Humana, Passport, and United Healthcare and WellCare. I'm sorry, I might have mistaken, said 5 because they added 1. But what I want to make sure, everybody that's on Medicaid, if you have your Medicaid Aetna card or WellCare or whatever, call the customer service number and sign up for the bonus things, because you get bonus points every time you go to the doctor. They're all about healthcare, or getting your checkups or whatever. Also, they have cooking classes and anything like that you sign up for, and you earn points and money, and so that way you would know about the points. Each of them offer different things, but that's about it for Medicare or Medicaid. And then we have the qualified health plans, and that's based on your income, and you can get a tax break on that. If you do not qualify for Medicaid, you can qualify for a qualified health plan. And I have people with Anthem pathways, and they're paying like $200 a month or $20 a month, depending on, like their income. And it's based on, income. Everything's based on income. But any questions?
So I have a question. Like, is there services to advise us? Like, since I'm on my parents, because I have a lot of autoimmune disorders, and is there like services where we can be counseled on what's better?
Which one's better?
Yeah, if it's worth going on Medicaid or if it's worth
I'm not allowed to say which one's better, but I can show you this little paper, and I can send this to you. The ones that have 5 stars are Aetna and Anthem. Humana has 3 stars, and Passport by Molina has 3 stars. United Healthcare has 1 star and WellCare has 1 star. And
So,
what I would suggest, if you don't know what to take and you're confused, call your primary doctor, because if you have a primary doctor that you deal with, he will know if he has to send you to a specialist, he'll know which specialist takes the MCO, the Medicaid that you would choose.
and Vicky's going to send me this information and I will forward it all to you in an email so you have it. And I think, Vicky, another question is that maybe she was asking is, if she's on her parents, if someone is on their parents' insurance, could they get this as secondary?
Yes, if they qualify.
Okay.
And, I've done a lot of those here lately, more than, because, what happens, I have clients that are in the hospital, their kids go to hospital, and their parents, to meet their deductible, they might have to pay 6,000-7,000. Well, they apply for Medicaid. If they're eligible, it picks up that. And the hospital, their parents would be the primary, and then the Medicaid would be the secondary.
And I put the link to connect in the chat. So would it be good advice to say, when in doubt, just apply?
Yeah, I would say that, because worst thing you can say is no.
Yes.
Okay.
And then
May I
another.
interject for just a moment? Megan, it's Megan. May I
Oh,
interject for just a
yeah.
moment?
Hey, Megan.
Sorry. Hey,
Hi, Megan.
Vicky.
Are you at the university?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Megan and I work together.
We were in the same office once. The only note is, if you need mental health services, billing when it comes to mental health with the primary and Medicaid as a secondary is almost impossible. You will most likely just lose your mental health benefits. So if that's something you need, just FYI, be cautious.
I do know, as far as, because I do a lot for some behavioral health, I know that they prefer Aetna and Anthem because there's no limit on the mental health service that they get. Where like WellCare, I think, is 7 days. You got to be healthy and well in 7 days. It took you a while to get broken. It's going to take you a while to get fixed.
Yeah, that's a great point. Connor, did you have a question? Use your hand up.
Yeah, Vicky, we had talked a while back about my application, and we had some issues working with it as far as getting it just finished. It wouldn't allow us access. I attempted to go into my local office and take care of some stuff, and I'm not sure if they, knew about the process, but I let them know I was with AmeriCorps and I was on a living stipend. However, they still counted my living stipend as an income. They said they did a little research on it. I was wondering if maybe we could set up some time that we could talk about that. They wanted a bunch of extra paperwork from me and stuff like that.
What I've ran into on some of the people that have called, they've included that stipend as income, and it should not have been included. So I had to do a UCBS call, because once that's in there, I can't take it out without, going through the whole system with Department of Community-Based Service worker. But like Carmen, they took her income out today, and we got her enrolled and doing,
And I have a letter, Connor, I will send to you as well. And if anyone else needs it, let me know. Actually, I could just send a blanket that it's excluded. I'll do that too with the paperwork Vicky sends, so that if you do apply, you can just present them that paperwork. And the biggest part, like I tell people all the time, especially our new folks, is to remember is that because you are giving of this service, this is how I look at it, right? Because you are giving of this service and supporting the future generation of Kentuckians, this is Kentucky's way of saying, let us help you.
Yes.
You know, we understand that this is what you're doing, so we're going to exclude that. And you are going to go through challenges, having worked in this field over 20 years ago. You're going to have different caseworkers and case managers throughout the whole state that see things differently. So we can help you through that. So thank you for bringing that up, Connor.
Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Vicki.
And I'm available by phone call. Whatever county you guys are in, all CAK community action centers have connectors that can help you if you have children. They can help you with the childcare. They can help you with food stamps and getting insurance. So,
Well, thank you, Vicki, so much. I put your
thank you. Now I'm going to the homeless shelter.
well, I put your in the chat, and Karen also provided a 24/7 mental health benefits through One Health. Do we have a phone number for that, Karen?
It is in the MSA, the link to that. It's an online thing, and it requires a access code, which we can talk about today too.
Okay.
Just AmeriCorps, but is the access code. But that information should be in their MSA.
Okay, and then I'll send out a link to when I send out stuff with Vicki's information.
Vicki, can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
So all of these AmeriCorps members serve with high school students and families. And so if the family has a question, what would their best route be for helping a family navigate healthcare services?
They could go on the Connect, line, or they could call look for a connector in their area and call, or they call me or DCBS if they are in, need right away to get something done.
Thank you.
Okay, but like I said, there's a connector in every county. Some counties have 2 and 3. And Northern Kentucky Community Action has 8 counties. So we have pretty many. Okay. Thank you guys for having me.
Cheryl, you have one question real quick? We'll finish.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to know, Vicki, where you are physically located.
I'm located right here in Newport.
You're in Newport, Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay, just curious.
But,
I'll send you an email. Thank you so much for being here today.
well, thank you for having me, and you guys have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Vicki. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
All right, so that was just a really quick down and dirty overview, and I will send you the information that she's going to send. I'll include the information Karen talked about mental health, because we know, and Vicki had mentioned this earlier on our call, just how important that is that we're taking care of ourselves in this crazy time. It's just a wild and crazy time. And if you have any other questions about, health insurance or SNAP, you can certainly direct them to me, and I can kind of help navigate too, or point you in the right direction. Or we can maybe enlist Megan. She's also really good at that. So we'll find out. We'll contact me and we'll find an answer. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Gail for our moment of connection.
Thanks so much, Shelley. And it's great to see everybody today. And it's I love seeing your AmeriCorps gear. Those of you who have yours on, looks great. So today, for our connection, we're going to put you into breakout rooms with 2 or 3 other people. And we're just going to practice our dialogue. And so one of the skills about having a good dialogue is being able to listen. And so that's kind of what we're going to practice today. So there's going to be 3 of you in a room, and you're going to share 2 experiences. So one that you are proud of, that inspired you, something that went really well, and then one that you're finding a challenge about. And so while you're talking, the other folks are not going to, get into a dialogue with you. So the listeners, one listener is going to say, "Tell me more," and the other listener is going to say, "Why is this important to you?" So that the person can talk more about the whatever they're talking about. Then after all three of you go, if the person, you or the other two people, want to have some help on that issue that was that you were, find a challenge, then you can say, "Does anybody have any ideas for me on this challenge?" So the idea behind this is that when somebody tells us a challenge, we don't automatically try to fix them or solve their problem, but we just listen and let them talk about it. But then after they are able to talk about it, then if they want help, they can ask for some suggestions or some ideas. So it's going to be in two stages. One is each person is going to share their positive experience and a challenge. So after everybody gets finished sharing those, then people can ask for suggestions. Any questions about how that goes? And Mindy, I didn't say this, but usually we don't put staff in the rooms. Okay.
There's no staff.
Okay.
How long are we going to have, Gail?
So do we have enough time, Shelley, to do this for 10 minutes? Okay.
10 minutes?
Yeah, so let's do 10 minutes.
Okay. Are we
Have a
ready?
good conversation.
Okay.
Thank you, Mindy.
We have one more. I'm going to throw him in a room.
Hey, Cam, it's good to see you.
Let's see which one am I
We're going into small groups, Cam, and we're going to talk about one thing that's been great that's happening, something you're proud of, or that's been really good, and then a challenge that you're having.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm throwing you in. There we go.
I think that went really well with Vicky. What do you think, Shelley?
Yeah. Straight and to the point, right?
Yep. And it makes me think that everybody, and it's good to have you back. And so when we have these kind of breakout sessions, we don't want to report back what every person said, but we do want to hear from 2 or 3 people just what struck you about the conversation. What was your experience like? What surprised you? Just kind of what struck you. So if a couple people might go off mute, or if you want to put something in the chat about what struck you, we just want to hear what that experience was like.
Well, I had Lindsay and Ashley in our group, and Lindsay, her thing is, she asked, "How can I help you best?" When she gets frustrated, what can I do for you? And I think that's good. That gets it to the point, but a lot of kids don't want to respond. They don't want to ask for help. And the other thing that we talked about is, Ashley mentioned, we talked about these careers, and this has been something I've been struggling with, but I think I'm asking the wrong question. What career are you interested in? And I don't get a response 90% of the time because they're not sure. But I think if we can have them list what they do not want to be, that opens up more questions. Or do your parents like their jobs, and what are their jobs? So that's kind of what I got from it, is what can I do? What can I do best to help you? And what do you not want to be? What do you not want as a career? I think those are good open-ended questions that, facilitate a good, better conversation.
Thank you, Greg. And that is a great teaser for our January training. We're going to have a session on how to talk with students about navigating a career choice, what they're good at, what they like, all those kind of things. So we're going to have a person from Berea College, and our own Mindy Wilson is going to do a session on that. So that's I'm seeing in the chiller difficulties, some had different difficulties. Shelley, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I think you just froze on my end anyways. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, okay. I know I've been having trouble with my internet. I apologize. So I was just commenting that it was fun because some groups had similar difficulties, some had similar difficulties, but it looks like people are saying that it's nice to connect with each other just so that you have others that are doing the things that you are doing. Also, there's some suggestions for activities in here, so we will save those and share those with everybody. Does anybody else want to comment on what struck you about your conversation with your other colleagues?
I do. Cheryl was talking about that she's starting her program from the ground up because there's never been a program there at that school, and I know we have several others that are going through the same thing. So I can see where that is a big challenge, and I think she's doing a great job, and she has some really good ideas.
Great shout out to Cheryl. Thank you, Carmen. And Cheryl, where are you?
I am at Dayton High School in Dayton, Kentucky. So it's the first year that the school has had someone from AmeriCorps. It's the first year for the principal. It's the first year for my point of contact, who's the director of teaching and learning. It's the first year for the guidance counselor. It's the first year for the registrar. So, it's like, and for me, a lot of time, I've done some steps and had some great ideas from Gregory Gray, especially with his breakfast club early in the morning, which is how I've gotten, a lot of the students, and gone on, made a general announcement to all the staff and teachers, and gone on and did little mini presentations to all grade levels, English classes, and then just seeing the kids. But it is difficult. And some of the strategies, for example, where we maybe give a little behavior mod reinforcement with candy or food, I came to find out that I couldn't do in my cafeteria. There's no food allowed in there outside what's served. And our chef's really, strict about that. And we're a free and reduced school. So we have a lot of good benefits because of that. And so I didn't, wouldn't jeopardize that. But, so I just look at it like it's a building year, keep trying different things. And people, Gregory's been great about ideas. Karen's been great, but just building. But I do find that, I'm a person who likes to do a lot of work while I'm here, while I'm working. And so sometimes it's hard if there aren't that 40 level of students. I think that's difficult. That's really what I want to be doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Cheryl, and welcome. And we'll all send good energy to Cheryl
Yay.
for her first year, all of those firsts.
All of those first. Yes. Thank you so much, Gail. And I'm sure there's others who are going through the similar things as well. So it's good to know we're all here together.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and it is neat that we together collaboratively have colleges on the call and high school. So as we're having conversations, to remember that we can all partner and support each other together.
Yeah, because there's there's just a lot of stuff I've learned, like differences in certain tests, Coyote test, ACTs, when that testing occurs, who, you know, all that kind of stuff, and different things about the school culture and how they test and that you learn a lot in that first interaction, I think, as well. So thank you.
And I just thank everybody for your comments. And so I encourage you to read the chat. There was a thought that that Victor has been working with special ed students. We are going to be having our February webinar is going to have someone from the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, so that maybe all of you can be more familiar with the services for those special ed students. So we look forward to having that. And thank you all for your comments and for having great conversations. And now I'll turn it back to Shelley.
Yeah. Okay. So I do want to point out that Tony is here with us in spirit, and she will pop in and out. She is out making lots of site visits today. So she wishes she could be here all day, but she's definitely here. She can make herself available. So then the next part of our agenda is going to be fun and exciting. And we're going to talk about the MSA that we all have signed, but maybe not all read or have forgotten. So we're just going to do some review, and hopefully that helps steer the direction where you're at. So I'm going to hand it over to Karen. So let's play a game.
Thank you, Shelley. Yes, so we are going to do sort of a modified version of a Kahoot game because I was not able to have it set up for the number of people that we have on the call today. So we are going to, I probably should start that over again. Anyway, so what I need for you to do, I'm going to start this over again, sorry, is if you have nearby a piece of paper that you can number, and you will just need to write down, you can just write down the letter. So I did letter everything. Let me do this so you're not having to watch that sausage making on the side there. So just go ahead and find a piece of paper. I know we have a lot of people in our group that are competitive, and they, and I love to see that energy, but unfortunately we're going to have to be competitive on paper today and kind of follow the honor system of who how many answers you got correct. So this is, like Shelley said, all about your MSA. And so this will help to sort of review. And for some of you that maybe didn't read every word, every line, this will be a really a good opportunity for you to know a little bit more about the MSA. So, all right, so I think I am ready. So I'm just going to give you an opportunity to get that paper ready. And let me just say too that as we go through the slides, so I'm going to run it like a Kahoot game, obviously. And so you're just going to put your answer on paper. You could just answer, in many cases, it's going to be A through D, or in some cases you could just put T or F because there are true, false questions there. If the question and the response sort of prompts a thought, maybe you're like, oh, I didn't know that, or, well, what about this situation? Jot down on paper or open up your email and put some of your thoughts or questions in that to send my way. Unfortunately, we aren't going to have time to respond to all questions or thoughts about any of the things that might be discussed in the Kahoot game and moving forward today. But I want to make sure that that we attend to your questions. So anyway, so let me go ahead and get this started. Everybody ready? Okay. All right, so I am going to start the game, and hopefully you can see the questions. I will read it. I hope that doesn't annoy anybody for me to read it, but just in case, it's just easier for you to hear the question. So here we go. Let me do that. Okay, here we go. All right, MSA stands for A, my service announcement, B, member service agreement, C, member service to AmeriCorps, D, many service assignments. And this will sort of be our test question. So the correct answer is member service agreement. Now, I cannot see everyone, but if you did get that correct, you can sort of raise your hand, or, you know, your actual hand. So MSA does stand for member service agreement. So you will hear in a lot of our discussions, oh, refer to your MSA, or your you know, you need to sign your MSA. And that is what we are referring to, is your member service agreement. All right, next question. Oop. When it's necessary for you to take an unplanned absence due to illness or a family emergency, you should do the following. Notify the site supervisor and program manager before 8:30 a.m. If it's a training day, notify program staff by email or phone. Provide a doctor note for absence injury that continues for more than 3 days, or all of the above. All right. Boy, I should have worked on that timing a little bit more. That went fast. The correct answer is all the above. So according to your member service agreement, your MSA, if you have an unnecessary, or excuse me, an unplanned absence, a family emergency, an illness, you do need to follow those guidelines, notifying the site supervisor and the program manager before 8:30 a.m. If it's a training day like today, I did, receive some emails, texts, phone calls this morning about situations, and I appreciate that for those that weren't able to do that. But just make sure moving forward that is the process that you follow. And then if you are going to be out for more than 3 days, make sure that you do provide some sort of documentation. All right, next question. Kentucky College coaches are AmeriCorps blank service members: Vista, school, community, or state? And the correct answer is state. So this is listed in your MSA as well. All right. I bet there are quite a few of you that are, what is that, question 3 or 4 out of 4? All right. It could be 3. I apologize. I should have numbered them. All right. Oh, no, this is 4. So that was 3 of 3. The term of service indicated on your MSA may be extended by you and the program in writing for the following reasons: your service was temporarily suspended, your service has been terminated, but grievance results in reinstatement, the program in agreement with the site and member extends the contract, or any of these circumstances may result in an extension. So that's referring to the day of the end date of your service. So when can it be extended? And the correct answer is D. Any of these circumstances may result in an extension. All right. Question 5. What is the maximum percentage of service hours that can be used for training and education? 10%, 50%, 20%, or unlimited with permission from site supervisor? Okay, the correct answer is 20%. And so for some of you that are recently onboarded, you may feel that a good chunk of your time is being used for training and education as you're, going through an orientation and this and that. But overall, your service time should be only 20% should be dedicated to training and education. And you can see these percentages calculated in your America Learns. It will show you how you record your time, what percentage is dedicated to each of those different allowable forms of service. All right, next question, number 6. True or false, according to your MSA, KCCs must actively participate in the program from start to end date? Is that stated in your MSA that you must actively participate in the program from start to end date? Hopefully this isn't a challenging question, but it does give us something to think about, what that means, what that looks like, if it is stated. So let's see what the answer is. And that is true. So hopefully you all did know that you are to actively participate in the program from start to end date. And examples of that are showing up today for this webinar. We know that you all have lots of responsibilities in the school. You know, I had a coach say, I'm going to be on a field trip today. It was planned by the school. And so we realize that there are circumstances that prevent you from participating, sometimes illness or whatever. But examples of active participation do include attending the webinars, participating in the webinars, in-person trainings when possible, responding to email, whether that's coming from, Shelley or me, Tony, Mindy, or even your ambassador. That's important to actively, participate in that way, to respond, also to attend ambassador team meetings when you can. That is very important. There's lots of information that are shared out in those meetings, and that is part of this active participation. So if you haven't been doing that, please make sure that you make it a priority to do so when you can, or at least respond back to emails letting them know that you are going to be able to attend. So thank you for that. All right, next question, question 7. A member who anticipates that they will have difficulty completing the required number of hours should notify your site supervisor, your program manager, or both site supervisor and program manager. And I do apologize. Most of you have probably already answered this question, but we'll go with the clock here. So who do you notify when you feel that you might have difficulty completing your required number of hours as indicated on your MSA? So you should notify both the site supervisor and the program manager so that the three of us can kind of talk that through and come up with a plan for completion, for success. So that is correct. All right, next question, question 8. As a KCC, options for health insurance include staying on a parent's or spouse's plan, insurance obtained through the federal health insurance marketplace, Medicaid, Medicare, or military benefits, or all of the above. And it's this is a relevant question considering Vicky's attendance today and presentation today about health insurance. So the correct answer is all the above. So depending on your situation, any of these would qualify as health insurance as a AmeriCorps member through our program. All right. Next question, question 9. True or false, all members who have or will obtain insurance are required to sign a waiver and provide a copy of the insurance card. Is that true or false? All right, so according to the MSA, if you already have insurance or are going to obtain insurance through, or you have a plan, once you get that secured, you are supposed to sign a waiver and provide a copy of the insurance card for us. All right, next question, question 10. A Kentucky College coach is eligible to apply for child care assistance if you have a child blank or younger and need child care to serve full-time in your role. A child 18 or younger, 13 or younger, 16 or younger, or 17 and younger. or younger, excuse me. So what is that cutoff age? And the correct answer is 13. So if you, our program, there is an eligibility to apply for childcare assistance if you have a child 13 or younger and need that childcare to serve in your role full time. And that information is found in your MSA, and we can discuss that as well on a one-on-one basis if you would like at any time. All right, question 11. If a coach serves over blank hours in a day, you should work with your site supervisor to ensure you are not serving more than 12 hours. And so this is a two-parter. So what is the number of hours that indicates that that you are sort of working an extended day, and what do you need to do about that? Yeah, that probably should have a little bit more time attached to it. Sorry about that. The correct answer is 10. So please be sure on your timesheet that if you are serving 10 or more hours or over 10 hours in one day, that you do talk with your site supervisor about that. Make sure they understand why you are in that are logging those hours. Many of them are asking you to do that. Maybe there's a FAFSA night or something like that, and they're well aware of it. But it is important for both your site supervisor and your program manager that you are giving some detail about that. More than likely, if you are putting a 10-hour day down or more, and there are no notes, that timesheet is going to be rejected and sent back to you for clarification. So, we all make mistakes. If that happens, no problem at all. Just expect to get that timesheet back for that clarification. So if you are serving over 10 hours, please let your site supervisor know and make sure that you're not serving really any more than 12 hours overall. All right, question 12. Blank is responsible for obtaining forbearance for qualified student loans via the My AmeriCorps portal. Who is responsible for doing that? Is it you, the member? Is it your program manager, your site supervisor, or is NKU responsible? Who is responsible for obtaining forbearance for qualified student loans through your My AmeriCorps portal? All right, the correct answer is you, the member. So if that is something that you are wanting to do, I know right now we're all sort of on pause due to the COVID kind of recovery stuff. So right now, I think we're all on pause through June 30th, I believe. But once that sort of lifts, or if it lifts sooner, which could happen, then in order for you to kind of continue on with any type of forbearance, you are required to do that through your My AmeriCorps portal. Question 13. A free mental health benefit with 24/7 access to personal professional counseling services is available to KCCs through, is it Humana, All One Health, Pfizer, or there is no such benefit for KCCs? And we did just discuss this a little bit ago. I'm not sure if you picked up on it, but the correct answer is All One Health. And Shelley did mention that she's going to be sending out some information to all coaches about applying for benefits and also the All One Health program that is available to AmeriCorps members. If you need something quicker, just know that you can go back to your MSA, your member service agreement, for that information. If you have any questions or problems with that at all, you can let Shelley or me know. And because I'm not sure, well, there is a code to access that, and we can make sure that you have that. And please do take care of yourself. You all are, everybody's kind of undergoing, a lot of stressors right now, especially with the holidays and just all the pressures that are put on you in the school and your families. And we're all going through that. And we just want you to really take care of yourself. Put the oxygen mask on you so that you can really best support and serve others as well as yourself. So please take advantage of that if you need it. Question 14. Upon successful completion of your term of service, you may be eligible to receive the following benefits. A Siegel AmeriCorps an Education Award, repayment of interest accrued during term of forbearance through NST. Both are possible, or neither are benefits. Okay, and the correct answer is both of those are possible. So if you successfully complete your term of service, you can be eligible to receive that education award depending on the number of service hours stated in your MSA, and repayment of interest accrued during term of forbearance. So during forbearance, interest does still accrue, but upon successful completion, there is a request or a form that you could submit through your My AmeriCorps to have that accrued interest also taken care of. So we can, or you would want to check your MSA for more details on that. All right, now I can't see if everybody's fallen asleep, so hopefully everybody's awake, they're answering, they're engaged. I can't see you, so let me know if I need to make it more exciting. All right, which of the following is not permitted as an AmeriCorps member? Organize or participate in protests, petitions, boycotts, or strikes, conduct or assist with a voter registration drive, engage in religious instruction, or none of these are permitted. Which is not permitted as an AmeriCorps member? And the correct answer is D. None of these are permitted. Now, there are many, many more, and they are listed they are very detailed in your MSA. So please make sure if you don't remember what those are, or, you've never looked at them, please make sure that you are going back and just being familiar, and that you're familiar with what those prohibited activities are, so that you are in compliance with the program, and that we don't run into any issues with that. There are training opportunities available through Serve Kentucky that we can share out with you, although many of you have watched the video of recording of that. So just let us know if you need more information or training on those prohibited activities. 16, true or false, an AmeriCorps Kentucky College coach may raise resources directly in support of program service activities. Fundraise. Is that true or false? And the correct answer is it is true. Although many of our coaches do not do any type of fundraising, and each school sort of has their own rules and policies around that. So it is a little complex, although some coaches have been successful in doing that. The maximum time that you are allowed to devote to fundraising for resources directly in support of the program, your program assignment, is 10%. So some coaches end up having no time dedicated to that, and others have gone up to 10%. If this is something that you are interested in doing, fundraising, please make sure that you talk with your program manager about that, so that you are sort of following the guidelines from our program. But then we also want to definitely get the site supervisor at your school involved, so that we're following those guidelines as well. All right, next question, 17. Which of the following is considered a violation of the KCC program rules? Consistent lateness or absence, recruiting volunteers within the community to assist with career awareness, helping students with time and organization skills, incorporating college-bound curriculum within the site school. And depending if you're in a high school or a college, there may be some confusion over some of these some of these options, but there should be one obvious answer. And that is A. Consistent lateness or absence is listed in your MSA as a violation of the KCC program rules. So please make sure that, if there are issues around lateness or absences, that you are working on a plan with your site supervisor and your program manager to get that corrected. We can talk through some things and maybe come up with some solutions if there are some issues that can be resolved. I realize that some things pop up, but please know that consistent lateness or absence is considered a violation of our program rules. Question 18. KCCs will have a midterm and end of term evaluation by the site supervisor and will take into account which two things: completion of service hours and successful completion of tasks assigned, number of core students and number of hours served, number of students served, number of students who are retained in program, number of volunteers recruited, and completion of tasks assigned. Which is the best answer here that will be part of your midterm and end of term evaluation? And the correct answer is A, completion of service hours and successful completion of tasks assigned. That will be sort of the focus of your midterm and end of term evaluations. We will talk a little bit more about those midterm evaluations in just a little while following this, this game. But just know that those are coming up. And this is really the focus of what that evaluation will look at. All right, question 19, we're getting closer. True or false? AmeriCorps members are permitted to serve on a jury and can continue to receive credit for their normal service hours. What does the MSA say about jury duty? Are you able to serve on jury, and do you get credit for your normal service hours? True or false? The correct answer is true. So there are other details in your MSA about jury duty. So if you are called to jury duty, just know that that is something that you are able to take part in and receive credit for normal service hours. So I've never been called to jury duty that I can remember. So I think it would be pretty cool. All right. Question 20. KCCs are expected to be serving at school during regular school hours, minimum of 37.5 hours per week between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 4:00 p.m. Monday through Friday. And I was limited on how much information I could put in the question. And we're talking about according to your school calendar. So is this true or is this false? So you should be serving in your roles, and that is true. And that's pretty straightforward information that is clearly stated in your MSA. So your service is tied to the college coach role during regular school hours between 7:30 and 4:00 Monday through Friday. All right. Question 21. Time that counts towards service can occur on any day of the week and can include actual service time and an orientation. So does your MSA state that your service can occur on any day of the week and include these forms of activities? Is that true or false? Okay, so the answer is true. I was kind of surprised by this, but I have seen examples on timesheets and talking with coaches, where I know one school had an open house on a Sunday, which was really surprising. So your service can occur on any day of the week, but make sure that if it is really outside of that Monday through Friday, that typical, that you are providing documentation or notation in your timesheet for that reason. If I can speak for myself as a program manager, if I see hours logged on a Saturday or Sunday and there's no information, I'm likely going to send the timesheet back to you. It could be legitimate, like an open house or something like that you were asked to serve or provide service for at that time. But without that information, I don't know that. So I'm going to speak for all program managers that if you have service outside of that Monday through Friday, that you do provide that notation. All right. 22, mid-year reviews will consist of member submitted self-evaluation, evaluation submitted by member site supervisor, evaluation completed by program manager, or both member submitted self-evaluation and evaluation from site supervisor. So which of these make up the mid-year review? And for those that have gone through this already, you should know this, I'm sure. But for our new coaches, this might be kind of new information. So it does include your own personal self-evaluation or reflection, so to speak, of your service so far in your role, and successes, challenges, and then also an evaluation by the site supervisor. So the program managers will conference with you about sort of the results of those, but we do not specifically submit any type of evaluation as part of this review. So we will do conferences with you based on that. And we'll talk more about these mid-year reviews in just a moment. Moving on, question 23. For mid-year reviews, members will be evaluated in the following categories: attendance, professionalism, attitude, compliance, communication, commitment, accountability, and achievement, or all of these. So what makes up the mid-year review, or what categories will you be reflecting on and being evaluated? So the correct answer is all of these. So the alliteration is great, but that is actually the way that it's stated in your MSA. So these are detailed, and it actually gives, sort of descriptions or definitions of each of these, and how this will be sort of evaluated and discussed with you. So please refer to your MSA for details about each of these categories. So attendance, professionalism, attitude, compliance, communication, commitment, accountability, and achievement. It is always a good idea to know how you're being evaluated, so there's no surprises, so that you can really think about ways if you feel that you are kind of falling short in one area, which I'm sure you all are doing the very best that you can. I've seen some great things and heard great things. But if you personally feel like you can make improvements, this is a great time to really think about that and to get that, sort of set some challenge goals for yourself. All right, question 24, true or false? Maria, an AmeriCorps member, is injured and cannot complete her service term. True or false? Maria can receive a partial education award. Is that true or false? If she is injured and cannot complete her service term, as indicated on her MSA, can she just receive a partial ed award? The answer is false. Now, certainly we would do everything we can to help you successfully complete your term, but kind of a cut and dry answer, if somebody is not able to complete their service term, partial awards are not allowed or not given. All right. And 25, how many years do you have to use your education award? Is it 5 years, 7 years, 6 years, or 4 years? And the correct answer is 7 years. All right. And all of the, once you, complete your term of service, all of the information pertaining to your ed award is in your My AmeriCorps account, and you'll be getting instructions about how to handle that towards the end of your term. So 7 years. 26. As an AmeriCorps member, your living allowance is taxed. Is that false? Is listed first, or true? So is that true or false? As an AmeriCorps member, your living allowance is taxed. And I'm assuming that most of you will know this from already having received a living allowance. But for those that maybe are coming up on their first one, we want to just make sure that you know that your living allowance is taxed. Okay. And Bob's MSA, their fictional Bob's MSA, is based on a 675-hour term from September 1st through May 31st. On May 1st, Bob has met the service hours. Can Bob quit and still receive an Ed Award? Is that yes or no? So Bob's MSA is 675 hours. Okay, and the answer is no. So even though he has met his service hours early in the term, he cannot just quit and walk away from service and still be eligible for that Ed Award, because not only do you have to meet the hours, but you also have to fulfill your term of service as indicated on your MSA. So please keep that in mind. And some of you will get the hours that you need to fulfill your contract earlier than the end of the term that's listed, but you are responsible for fulfilling the full term of your contract or of your MSA. All right, 28. Your AmeriCorps Education Award is based on, and if you were listening, you should know this then, completed service hours as stated in your MSA, successful completion of stated service term, and monthly service report completion, or both A and B. What is required in order for you to get your education award? And it is both A and B. So you do have to successfully complete your term of service as indicated in your MSA, as well as complete the number of service hours that are stated in your MSA. All right, and finally, KCCs are expected to serve a minimum of 7.5 hours a day. When you determine that you need to leave early, you should notify site supervisor and your program manager as soon as you know you need to leave. Work with the site supervisor to ensure that leaving will not cut into your 37.5 hours a week. Notate the reason for leaving early in your timesheet, or all of the above. And the correct answer is all the above. So if you are, I know there's a lot of sickness going around, and I just know it's going to hit my house soon. So, some of you have already kind of come through that, but if you are, if you're serving in your sites at your site and, you're not feeling well, I know it's best likely for you to go home. We don't want you to suffer there in your, in your sites, and we don't want you to spread anything if possible. So we do want you to leave early if you feel that it's best, but please make sure that you are letting your site supervisor know, and your program manager. Make sure that when you can, that you're working out a way to make up those hours so that you're not in a deficit overall. And then also please note the reason for leaving early. If you mark your timesheet as did not serve sick, it doesn't even allow you to enter time in that maybe you did serve before you went home ill. So just kind of put that in the notes if you did have to leave early. Okay, so all right, I still see everybody's awake. How did we do? All right, is there, all right, thank you, Gail. So fantastic. So you can, I would love for you to put the number of correct in the chat. Maybe some of you got some partial. Awesome. Maybe you didn't select, both A and B, but you selected A or B, and that you're getting there. So, so that's great. So it looks like, oh, thank you so much, everybody sharing. So most of you did pretty good. The numbers that I'm seeing, and if you feel like you really did not know a lot of the answers, hopefully this was an opportunity for you to learn something new. Or if anything, for you to say, you know what, I really need to go back and look at that MSA. Because I know when you're onboarding, there's just so much coming at you, right? And there's some anxiety, maybe some excitement, just, and so sometimes we sign things that we don't really know what we're signing. And I've been guilty of that. So please make sure that you are taking the time to review that. And we'll even use that as sort of a segue into the next section where we are talking about some things that you can do over the winter break. So
Just a reminder, we have about 10 minutes.
Yep. Okay. All right. So quickly. Yeah, sometimes my my games, I think, take a little bit longer. So, okay. So what I want to do is just quickly go over the option that you have of serving over winter break. Again, it's optional. Do not feel like you have to do this. We want you to enjoy your time off if you would like. But if you need to get some hours in, maybe you're just behind on some things, please take special note of what we're going to go over in the next couple of slides. So all adaptations to service hours must be approved and verified by your site supervisor. So if you're planning on putting in some time over winter break, please make sure that you let your site supervisor know that, so that when they see your timesheet come through, they're not surprised, because they're likely going to say, nope, we were closed. So kind of let them know what to expect with that. It is not recommended to meet with students via Google Meets outside of school. So if you are thinking, oh, maybe I'll do a Google Meet session with one of my students, we're going to advise against that, just because we don't really want to bother the student. We don't want them to feel any pressure. There are other things that you can be doing during that time. And overall, use these same kind of guidelines anytime that maybe your school closes due to snow or illness, or just any other school-wide closures for NTI days. So make sure that you are discussing what you are doing or what you're planning to do with your site supervisor. And really, let's just try to stay away from using Google Meets with students while you and students are out of the school building. So ideas for winter break task or any of those NTI days in general, watching Kia videos or reading Kia publications, getting in. I know I have talked to a lot of you about, getting that booklet and reading through it and highlighting, having sort of a master copy for yourself to refer back to. That's a great opportunity to get that resource ready for yourself to use with students. Research your feeder schools, find out more about the middle school that might be going to the high school that goes to the colleges, other college and career readiness programs in your region or in your area district. So take some time to do some of that research. Reviewing the KCC handbook is awesome, as well as your MSA. So some of you commented that you were surprised by some of the responses. And so that would be a great time for you to do that. Also, you can plan your mini grant. So if you have some ideas, that has been extended, so you can certainly do that. And just, brainstorm some ideas with each other or with your program managers about other tasks that you could do over the winter break if you choose to do so, or during any sort of NTI days. And if you're not sure if something is allowed, just email us and we can let you know. And just a quick review, I know the game already mentioned this, just make sure that if you are taking time off, that you are notifying the program manager and site supervisor as soon as possible in writing. And then please be sure too that the average hours needed counter in America Learns, I want to make sure that you know that this is not at this time a true reflection of the average number of hours needed to complete your service term. There are some, we're still setting some of that up. So please do not use that as a guide of, oh, hey, I don't have to get that many hours in, or I could take some time off, unless you need it, of course. But after the holiday break, after this winter break, it will look a little closer to true, but there will still be some gaps in that. So if you have any questions about how many hours needed that you still have, let's talk and we can kind of figure that out together. And quickly, the mid-year reviews, I've already sort of introduced that in the Kahoot game. Just know that those are coming up and that those will be sent out probably late January, early February. The evaluations, these are the sort of the categories. Refer to your MSA about the details of those mid-year reviews. And as I said before, now is the perfect time to be thinking about, we don't want you to have lots of anxiety. We don't want you to worry about it. I feel like all of you are doing a great service in your school. But, if you're hitting some walls or having some challenges, this is a great time to think about how to resolve those. Working with your program managers, your site supervisors. And if not, they'll kind of come through on that mid-year review, and then we'll work together on resolution. So that is all that I have at this time. And again, if you have questions, thoughts about anything that I've covered, please send me an email. Just because we don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, in this meeting, we don't want to keep anybody longer than what we had. Thank you, Cassidy.
Okay, can I say something, please?
Of course.
Morning, everybody. So glad to see you all today. I sent out an email on Monday requesting to know your number of core students. This would be for the KIA college coaches. So I need to know your number of core students that you have at this time, and also your last date of December and your first day back in January. I've heard back from about half of everybody. So if you could please return that email and let me know your number of core students and your time in and out. Great, thanks.
So glad you're still here, Tony. Yes. So with those questions that you might have, refer to Karen or Tony, and they can certainly help you. We know that was rushed. Oh, you're on mute.
One other thing, I know that several people may not have gotten the request, the Google Meet request for the in-person training in Berea. If you have not received that, be sure and let Shelley know that you plan to come to the in-person training at Berea. Okay, I know a lot of those, for some reason or another, they didn't see them.
Okay, so we're going to actually get into that in a little more detail.
All right, thanks.
So we have a few minutes, and I have more than a few minutes, so I'm going to try to keep it, but we understand if you have to leave, but you can stay. There's some good information. Just a reminder, we just want to go over supply budget. Everybody has $1,000 or 1,000. Wouldn't that be wonderful? $100. Okay. $100. It is kind of a process, so be patient. If you get your materials and you notice that you're missing things, let us know. I will pick on Ryan for some crazy reason. Everything was going to get shipped, and then Amazon said, nope, and he only got one thing. So make sure you let us know that you get that so we can submit your orders. Again, it does take a process. If you haven't got them, just email me directly, and I will work with Megan to get that together for you. Mini grants have been extended until January 30th. We realize that there are a lot of folks that might need help writing the mini grants. So during our in-person training, we will have a mini grant session for our college coaches and high school coaches to help you write those mini grants and what they look like. So know that that will be a support added to you. We also are going to add $35 to everybody's race promotion AmeriCorps money, so you can purchase like a sweatshirt or a sweater. So you will have access to all of that, and we'll send that out in an email. It's only $35, so watch your budget. If you haven't spent your initial money, you still have time to do that. And we are tracking all that, so make sure if you have any questions, you can ask me and I will submit that for you. In the future, though, you will only get one time. If you come back next year, which we hope you all do, you'll get a one-time amount, and we'll talk about that in the future. But for now, you will have an extra $35 to buy like a sweater or sweatshirt.
Is that the 70 that you gave us a few months ago?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thank you for that clarification. And then as Tony had mentioned, our January meeting is going to be in Berea. It'll be a half day on Monday, the 16th, full day, the 17th, and half day, the 18th, I believe. We're working on the finalized agenda. And Mindy had sent out an email to everybody to fill out a survey on how many rooms you need, if you're going, if you're not going. So it is imperative that you all complete that ASAP, like today. You have until the 15th, but the sooner the better, so that we can go ahead and start planning and organizing the hotel rooms. For those that are new, as a reminder, we pay upfront for a hotel. So we ask that you do come. If you cannot come for last minute, you just please let us know. And then we will reimburse you for your travel, and all food is included. So we take care of all of that. It's a fun, exciting time to be together. So we're really hopeful that everybody can make it. And then our next meeting will be January 4th. And it'll be a shorter meeting because we really just want to go over the logistics of what's going to happen at our in-person meetings, so that you guys are all a little bit more prepared, and kind of give a few more updates on the program and where we're at.
Shelley,
Yes.
I wonder if we could also use some of that time to answer some of the questions that came up here out of the Kahoot game and that kind of thing. So maybe we could do a revisit.
Yes. And Karen, yes, we mentioned that we'll kind of come up with a FAQ list. So we can definitely do that the January 4th, but then we will supply a FAQ of questions that we've gathered in the in-person meeting as well, because we know that we had a lot of great questions that came up. And I know that some shared and some were unable to share on here, and that's totally fine. But just remember to email your program manager, whether that's Mindy, Karen, or Tony, with any of those additional questions. I can help with supplies, mini grant, and your gear from Reese Promotion for your AmeriCorps shirts and sweatshirts. Another question that came up is business cards. I will just be transparent. Everything here is a process. We have to go through NKU and the ordering, and you know how supply chain stuff is happening right now. So just be patient, and we will get that to you as soon as possible. Definitely, we're hoping by the in-person meeting, you'll have your business cards.
Shelley, I have a couple of things.
Yep.
A couple of questions came up. One about where the recordings for these go. I have set up YouTube channels, and so we'll share those links for recordings so that you can access these recordings later. And the second thing is about America Learns. For your hours, the average number of hours, if you're on a contract that goes through July 31st, it's already correct. It's incorrect for anybody who is expecting to go through May 31st, and those should be updated and correct by the end of next week. So check back the end of next week, and if you have any questions about that, reach out to me and I'll help you figure it out in America Learns.
Does that include the winter break though too, Mindy?
No, because everybody has different winter breaks, and
Yeah.
some people don't have breaks at all. So that does not, it will only be accurate for from your start date until your end date, but not any breaks like winter break or spring break, things like that. So you would have to figure that out on your own, or you could let me know when those are and I could get it in there sometime. But knowing that there are 60 of you, if you all send it to me, it will be a little slow process. But if you really, really want it, you can send me your break dates and I can get it in there eventually.
All right. That is a lot of information overload. Gosh, we pounded everybody today. And you all are so busy, and I love it. I love that you're all so engaged and involved in your schools. And we know that this is a really busy time. So keep being amazing. Gail, do you have anything you want to add?
I just want to know about Whoville. Is Carmen showing Whoville? She said something in the chat.
Yes, and the bell is about to ring. I don't know if you guys can see this very good or not. This is just amazing. I haven't got to help, and I don't have this much talent. But oh my goodness, it just looks so real. You guys see that?
Yeah.
They have made like everything. They have worked so hard on this. And
Put
they're
the
still
camera down
working
just
on
a
it.
little bit.
Yeah,
There's a
I can see a
contest
ceiling.
tomorrow.
There we go.
See?
Yeah, the camera down. That's good. Oh my
Okay.
gosh. That's
Well,
amazing.
share those pictures with us because we will start posting them to our social media and adding that so you guys can share with that with amongst your friends and community partners as well. We love seeing all that great stuff that you all are involved in.
Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you in January.
We'll see you then.
Thank you. Stay safe and well.
Thanks to all of you too. Have great holidays. Take care. Bye now.
Thanks,
Bye,
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
Bye.
Cassidy's going to stay on and ask a question about, oh, did she leave? Oh, there she is. Okay. And if other people have questions, you're welcome to stay on to ask a question.